Hi folks, welcome to RJ Impact. Today we're going to get an insight into the inner workings of the FTX Corporation from the perspective of a staffer who worked there. Halcyon days, my former job with FTX. Listen to this tweet. My ex FTX. 2-ish weeks ago, I formally resigned from my position as an FTX employee. I'd been employed by FTX since October of 2021. What a journey it was. Please pull up a chair and prepare yourself for story time. That was just the start of it. Those two sentences in a single tweet definitely grabbed my attention. I often look through X, erstwhile Twitter, on a subject I'm interested in, just to find something that might be worth a comment or inclusion in one of my videos. Primarily, I find banality or rants, but sometimes, just sometimes, amongst the rough, there is a diamond, and this was one of those moments. Let me explain. Those two sentences from X were the start of a series of tweets from an ex-employee of FTX. I found them pretty much by accident, but the way they started just demanded you read more, so I did. I looked into them a bit further, and actually I think that they've been picked up by one or two news outlets. There are similar tweets to these that I think are quoted directly in one or two news bulletins, but they're news to me anyway, so I thought I'd share them regardless. The tweets were made by one Danielle Cloud, and as a bit of background, she worked in FTX's marketing department. I found one or two images of her at FTX, so this and the general tones of the tweets make them all seem fairly credible. The tweets were sent mid-December last year, so that's just after the collapse of FTX itself, and at the time SBF was being extradited back to the US. Now, I'll read her tweets out, and I'll do it as a quasi Q&A, which hopefully works. You'll see the original tweets here. Let me know if this works. So Daniel, tell us about FTX. My ex, FTX. 2-ish weeks ago, I formally resigned from my position as an FTX employee. So, what do you want to say about FTX? Well, I'd been employed by FTX since October of 2021. What a journey it was. Please pull up a chair and prepare yourself for story time. Thank you, I will. Please tell me more. Before we proceed, the following commentary is a perception of an experience and is definitely not for investment or life advice, and at no point is anything tweeted from this account an answer to the transgressions of FTX, SBF, or named parties. It's also not a reflection of FTX now. Okay, I understand you don't want to put yourself in the firing line, I respect that, and I'm sure you're safe anyway. Just relay the thread as you saw it. Let's break the thread into chapters, shall we? Thank you for tuning into my literary therapy. I'm all ears. Break it down into chapters. Chapter 1. FTX Cult. Yeah. When I first joined FTX a year ago, things felt off, cult-like. We've all seen the crazy docuseries Fire Festival, Theranos and WeWork should all ring a bell. Certainly should, I concur. Had you come across FTX before joining them? Before joining, I'd never heard of FTX or SBF. In Sam's defence, I probably couldn't have pointed out Tom Brady in a lineup either. I'd traded crypto sparingly since 2016, but was far removed from the tech bro Twitter. And what did you and others make of SBF? Everybody employed at FTX was obsessed, and I suppose it made sense. The kid was young, the principles were revolutionary, the ideas were golden. He was the richest 29-30-year-old on earth. Who was I to challenge that? A pretty common thought for most, until recently. Definitely. What job did you do there? Despite a career and education in marketing, I initially accepted a role in compliance at FTX US, working out of the Chicago headquarters, the goal being to move into marketing. By January, I'd started taking the lead on most US email communications, and by May, I was officially promoted to a marketing full-time role. The move, however, required me to work out of the Bahamas the majority of the time. Wow, quick progression. I'm sure it was well deserved. Tell me about the Bahamas. Life in Nassau. I never knew all the things that money could buy. the multi-million-dollar homes of everyone in the C-suite, the house parties and private chefs, food catered 24/7 in the Bahamas office, in addition to the free groceries, monthly barbershop pop-up, and bi-weekly massages. Yes, we've heard some things about the luxuries being bought by SBF and his cohorts. It's reported that they spent approximately $250 million on real estate, is that right? The half dozen condos leased purchased by FTX for free employee access, in addition to the expensed stays in luxury hotels. Wow, it sounds idyllic. They must have been on the ball to afford that, yes? The entire operation was ironically and moronically inefficient, but equally mesmerizing. Coming from a Southside Chicago public school, I'd never witnessed so much money in my life. I don't think anybody had, including SBF. Wow. What about all these rumours of the polycule and such like? Time to start a new chapter, I think. Chapter 2, Day to Day. Finding happiness at FTX. I can't attest to any orgies happening. I highly doubt there's any substance to those rumours. However, here are a few of the best running jokes. What's the best way to get a job at FTX? Be the female spouse of an existing employee. Start with a BS role and make your way to the C-suite in a month or two. This was an oversight on everyone, not women abusing their sexuality. Those who challenged it were churned. And the work environment, holidays, etc., what about them? Company holidays? Yes, that's the whole joke. The work week was Monday to Sunday. A month into working, my co-worker was chewed out by the boss for asking if we had Thanksgiving off. SPF was aware of the workload standards, and out of the compassion he has for humanity, he brought in a mental health specialist. Company shrink enters the chat. Wow, that's a thoughtful gesture. This was Dr. George K. Lerner, from what I understand, and what made SPF bring him in then? In true FTX tradition, the shrink's experience consists of befriending the bankman-fried household a decade prior, and the ability to be a bridge between affluent kids and their insatiable amphetamine dependency. Good grief. Did you ever meet the shrink? I met him, per his suggestion, 3 times in the first week. After an initial consultation, he informs me that he can help with my underdiagnosed ADHD because that's his speciality. Our second session is a 4-hour conversation in the Baha Mar SLS hotel lobby, being served by the bar. What was he like? The only 2 public reviews on him are helped me with ADHD and the following. Yes, he always intended to be the company supplier, regardless of the cost. Those 2 reviews don't really match, do they? Seems like 2 differing people. What do you think? In the course of my time at FTX, he said he considered me a friend, not a patient. Told me his wife wouldn't care if he cheated, and frequently inquired about me and my fiance's sex life. Ugh, sounds like a creep. Let's leave that, let's get back to SBF. Well, even though everyone regarded Sam with praise, nothing he did ever quite made sense. Exhibit A. US licensed doctors can't prescribe in the Bahamas. The result? He was propositioned as a coach consulting on business growth, critical to employee satisfaction retention strategies. And in the background, admin were pushed to illegally ship prescriptions to Nassau that were written in California or Florida. That does confirm some of the suspicions that have been aired about drug abuse. What about SBF's business style and acumen, and all this effective altruism support? Start a new chapter, why don't you? Chapter 3. Effective altruism. SBF's most disgusting lie. Can we get a comparison of SBF's FTX's political versus altruistic contributions? Even the inner circle shrink recognised the EA motto was bullshit. The company could never give a straight answer on amounts donated versus earmarked. Yes, it seems from everything we know they didn't really have any control over financial or record keeping, so did they or didn't they donate? What was your experience? Most notably and heartbreaking to me, for personal reasons, not objectively, FTX falling short on its commitment to provide 100 formerly incarcerated Chicagoans with no-fee bank accounts and guaranteed monthly income. A program that was launching on the 17th of November 22. When asked, SBF's dad said it was more important to give those funds to his son for legal fees than to provide to a program that would help 100 people. Oh, that is bad. I think what you're saying is they diverted committed charitable donations to SBF himself for his own personal legal issues. Anyway, how did SBF pull this off? The scale of things, it's just mind-blowing to us mere humans. SBF didn't do it alone. Yes, he may have had connections, funding and privilege I can't begin to comprehend, but he could still not have gotten this far without the support of strangers worldwide. He was praised and regarded as the messiah of crypto. We all turned a blind eye, and even in his demise, we aren't prioritising industry preservation or integrity. False prophets and wannabe martyrs are flooding news feeds. Well, thank you for that, Danny. Most enlightening. Any last words? With that in mind, be forever cautious. Do your own research, diversify, and always self-custody what you can. JK, this isn't intended as advice, so do whatever and catch you all around. Wise words, Daniel. Bye for now.